Hi, parents. Welcome back to the Parent Guide, helping your teen overcome pornography addiction. I'm Matt Bulkley, a psychotherapist who has spent last 25 years walking alongside families just like yours, and I'm really glad that you're here. Today, I want to talk about something that hits home for so many of us as parents. It's that constant buzz of screens, notifications, TikTok scrolls, YouTube rabbit holes, and games that never seem to end. Our teens are growing up in a world that's basically engineered to keep their brains lit up 24/7 with quick dopamine hits. And when that nonstop stimulation becomes the norm, it can make it really tough for them to sit still, feel calm, or push back against urges like turning to pornography when things feel empty or restless. And I hear this question from parents all the time. How do I help my teen build some real inner strength in the middle of all this digital noise? Well, surprising answer, we actually need to help them get okay with boredom and quiet moments again. Yeah, I know. Boredom sounds like the enemy, right? Well, that thing that we all rush to fix with the phone or a show. But here's the thing, boredom isn't just nothing to do, it's actually a healthy signal from the brain. When teens let themselves feel bored without immediately grabbing a screen, their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles self-control, thinking things through, and handling discomfort, well, it gets a chance to rest and recharge. Those quiet breaks build the mental muscle that they need to resist compulsive stuff, including pornography. Lately, research, including fresh studies from 2025 and 2026, back this up big time. Boredom often shows up as a major trigger for problematic pornography use, especially when teens feel like life lacks meaning or purpose. And one study found that feeling like nothing matters leads to more problematic porn consumption. And boredom plus avoiding tough emotions is right in the middle of that chain. In teens especially, being prone to boredom makes them lean harder on digital escapes during downtime. So in this episode, we'll break down the science in plain language, share a few real stories from my practice, the kind of situations that I see week after week, and most importantly, give you practical, doable steps to help your teen rediscover the value of quiet time without it feeling like a punishment. So if your teen seems to fill every spare second the screen, or they turn to porn the moment things slow down, then this one's for you. There's real hope here and tools that can make a difference. So let's jump in together. You know how, as parents, we often panic when our teen says, I'm bored, and are completely okay with them grabbing the phone or turning on a show. Well, it feels like the easiest thing to do in the moment. Anything to avoid the whining or the restlessness. But the truth from the brain science is actually the opposite. Little boredom, little boredom is really good for them. In fact, it's essential. So think of the prefrontal cortex as your teen's inner boss, part of the brain that helps with smart choices, resisting impulses, staying aware of their feelings, handling tough emotions without running away. So when they're constantly bombarded with notifications, videos, games, quick hits of fun from their phone, well, that boss stays in overdrive. No breaks means it gets fried. So over time, they lose some ability to simply sit with discomfort. Their impulse control weakens, and they're way more likely to turn to something compulsive like porn to feel okay again. So here's why screens and porn especially hook in so hard. Every like, swipe, video, or explicit scene delivers a fast burst of dopamine, that feel good brain chemical. It's like junk food for the reward system. Super satisfying in the second, but it trains the brain to crave more and more to get that same high. Natural ways to feel good, like daydreaming, chatting with friends, or just being quiet, start feeling flat by comparison. Teens can even start fearing their own thoughts when things slow down. So, porn becomes the easy, intense escape. It offers a huge dopamine rush right away, but over time, that leads to needing more extreme stuff to feel anything. So, building tolerance and stronger cravings. For example, a 2026 replication study looked at problematic porn use as a way to escape that deep sense of life feels meaningless, the kind of emptiness boredom often signals. They found that feeling like nothing matters predicts heavier, more problematic porn use. And it happens through boredom plus avoiding tough emotions. A 2025 systematic review on boredom and problematic tech use included online porn showed the same pattern across studies. Bored teens consistently turn to digital stuff during free time instead of real life activities. And some longer term studies looked during pandemic era noted that avoiding boredom was a big reason that many teens ramped up porn use when life felt unstructured or empty. And I see this play out all the time in my practice. Take Ethan, 16-year-old I worked with on unstructured weekends. He'd fill every empty minute with endless scrolling, and it almost always led to porn. And he told me straight up, boredom made me crave something exciting. And his use, it kept escalating. It messed with his focus at school, wrecked his sleep, left him feeling more drained, lots of guilt. And it matched exactly what the research shows. When kids are prone to boredom, they lean harder on these compensatory escapes. So, the good news, we can turn this around. In Ethan's case, alongside our weekly therapy sessions, we use tools from the recovery toolbox for teens and intentionally built in some structured quiet time plus meaningful activities. So, no phone, no instant fixes. And it wasn't about forcing boredom as a punishment, it was about gently helping him to practice sitting with the boredom. And over time, he built real tolerance for those quiet moments. And his urges dropped significantly, and he started finding other ways to feel alive and connected. So, if this sounds like your teen, always reaching for a screen the second things get quiet, this part of the puzzle can bring real change. Remember, it's not about taking away fun, it's about giving their brain the resets that it needs to build strength from the inside out. So hang in there. We'll talk more about how to do this in practical ways coming up. All that nonstop digital noise isn't just annoying, it's actually wearing down our teens' ability to bounce back from hard feelings. The constant stream of quick rewards from screens floods their brain with dopamine. So when things finally get quiet, silence feels almost painful. Instead of sitting with their thoughts or emotions, they often reach for something that promises instant relief, like porn, which gives an even bigger, faster hit. But that quick fix starts a tough cycle. It makes them more afraid of their own inner world, reinforces the habit of escaping instead of facing things, and keeps pulling them back in. Over time, all this overstimulation can make it harder for the prefrontal cortex, that executive control part of the brain, to do its job well, like helping regulate emotions or stay calm in uncomfortable moments. Teens end up struggling just to be still without a distraction. And research connects this to bigger picture stuff. So, boredom often acts as a bridge between things like feeling down or depressed and turning to unhelpful digital habits, including porn, as a way to push away tough emotions. In teens, especially, being prone to boredom is linked to using porn more for emotional escape. During the pandemic, studies showed that for many adolescents, increased porn use was tied to boredom relief or coping with the extra stress when life felt unstructured and isolated. Though it wasn't the case for everyone, which reminds us that every teen is different. Let me share another real story from my practice. I'll call him Mike, 15-year-old that I work with. Evenings after arguments with his parents leave him feeling anxious and bored, and he'd turn to porn to numb out those feelings for just a little while. And it gave him temporary relief, but then the guilt and shame would pile on, making everything feel worse, just like what the research describes about using it as a short term coping tool that often leads to poor emotional outcomes in the long run. Through therapy, we focused on helping him to gently observe and then to sit with his feelings during quiet moments without rushing to escape. And he learned healthier ways to handle those anxious or empty times. And over time, his reliance on porn decreased a lot. He started feeling more connected to himself and to other people. Well, what these patterns show us is really important. When we or our teens keep avoiding boredom at all costs, it can dig the cycle of shame, isolation, and compulsion only deeper. But when we start embracing those quiet moments, even just a little, it opens the door to real growth, better self-awareness, more empathy, more patience, sharper focus, and fewer urges pulling them toward the addiction. It's like rebuilding an inner foundation of strength that helps protect against these traps. Parents, you're doing important work just by listening and learning about this. These changes don't happen overnight, but they're absolutely possible, and they do make a huge difference in helping your teen to feel more in control and truly okay in their own skin. So we'll keep unpacking practical ways to support this process in future episodes. All right, parents, let's get practical here. Helping your teen to get comfortable with boredom. It isn't about locking the phone away or forcing them into awkward silence. It's about gently creating little pockets of natural space in their day where their brain can breathe, reset, and rebuild that inner strength that we've been talking about. So these steps are drawn from what actually work in real families and what the research supports. Small changes that add up into big shifts in impulse control, emotional awareness, and fewer urges over time. So here are some doable ways to start. Set up simple tech-free zones and times. Think no devices at the dinner table or an hour before bed where everyone's screens are off, charging in another room. Might feel weird at first, but these boundaries cut down on the constant stimulation and give quiet a chance to sneak in. Surprisingly, clear limits like this often reduce compulsive behaviors without turning into a big fight. Teens actually feel more secure when they know the rules. Next, get them outside, unplugged. Encourage phone free walks, backyard hangouts, or just time in nature, whether it's a quick stroll through the neighborhood or longer outings. Being outdoors naturally dials down the digital noise, helps to reset dopamine levels the healthy way, and it opens space for calm reflection or even just staring at the sky. In my Star Guides program, we build on this foundation. Extended time, completely unplugged in nature with the full digital detox. For many teens caught in deep addictive patterns, that kind of total break is the reset that they truly need to interrupt the cycle. Next, lead by example. Model it yourself. Put your phone down, put it away, especially during family time. Let them see you enjoying a quiet moment, maybe reading or thinking or just relaxing without scrolling. Share, hey, I love these quiet times. It helps me to clear my head. And teens pick up way more from what we do than what we say. Next, try easy mindfulness or meditation moments. Nothing fancy. Start with short breathing exercises, or there's a lot of good apps geared toward teens that teach noticing thoughts without judging them. And these build up the prefrontal cortex muscle, making it easier to observe feelings instead of escaping them with screens or porn. And over time, it cuts reliance on digital quick fixes. Nudge them toward creative, open ended activities, things like journaling, drawing, playing an instrument, building something, or picking up a hobby where there's no right way. Unstructured play like this, well, sparks original thinking, self expression, and real emotional processing. Studies show that kids involved in extracurriculars or creative outlets tend to have lower problematic tech or porn use and better overall mental health. Parents, make sure to watch for the gradual wins. They might start showing more self awareness, picking up on their emotions better, or showing empathy or patience, maybe staying focused longer, making smarter choices, and yes, fewer urges and healthier ways to cope when things feel tough. And long term, a mind that's okay with quiet builds rock solid impulse control, better problem solving, and a stronger connection to what really matters to them. And that's the foundation that helps them to thrive even in a digital world. So if you're ready to dive deeper with structured support, then make sure to check out the Recovery Toolbox for Teens. This is our evidence based set of tools designed specifically for this fight. It includes the Breaking Free Workbook, the Parent Guide, and the 101 Tips for Quitting Porn. So you can grab the blue version, the teen one, in the bookstore at therapyassociates.net. And whether you're doing this, it's a parent led intervention or teaming up with a therapist, it's built to give clear step by step help. And for those really tough situations where there's safety concerns, ongoing high risk behaviors, trauma crises like self harm or suicidality, repeated outpatient failures, or if you've lost that influence as a parent, then Star Guides Wilderness Therapy can be a game changer. It's an intensive wilderness based program for teen boys 13 to 17 struggling with compulsive sexual behaviors, porn issues, tech addiction, and related challenges. Full unplug in nature combined with therapy, family rebuilding often is the ultimate disruption to break addictive patterns. You can learn more at starguides.net. Parents, you're already taking a huge step by being here and learning these things. These aren't overnight fixes, but they're real. They're proven paths forward. Your teen can reclaim that inner peace, and so can you and your family. Parents, in this super noisy, always on world that we live in, there's actually a real superpower waiting for your teen, and that is simply learning to be okay with quiet. Just being without grabbing a phone for instant fun, laughs, or escape. When they can sit with a little boredom instead of fighting it tooth and nail, something amazing starts to happen inside. Their brain gets to build real internal strength, better impulse control, so that they can say no to urges more easily. They have deeper resilience, being able to bounce back from tough feelings without running away, and healthier paths forward, away from relying on porn or endless scrolling to feel okay. All that quiet time helps them to reconnect with their own thoughts, feelings, and values, which is huge for breaking free from addictive patterns. The research that we've talked about today and fresh studies from most recent years shows that when parents step in with compassion and gentle action early on, real lasting change is possible. You're not just managing a problem, you are equipping your teen with the tools to thrive even in a digital world that's designed to hook them. So start small today. Pick just one easy thing. Maybe make the dinner table a no free zone or go on a short phone free walk together after dinner. Those little pockets of quiet can spark big shifts over time. Parents, thanks so much for being here today. I know how precious your time is, and it means a lot that you're investing in this. I hope this episode gave you some fresh hope and practical ideas to try. If it resonated, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss our weekly tips, strategies, the latest research, and real support for this journey. So you'll find links in the show notes, the description for the recovery toolbox for teens, the blue version in the bookstore at the therapyassociates.net website, plus more on Star Guides Wilderness Therapy for those more difficult, tougher situations. Head to starguides.net to learn about this intensive, nature based digital detox and family rebuilding program. I'm Matt Bulkley. Thank you for the love, patience, and courage that you're showing up with every day as a parent. You're doing vital work. Keep connecting with your teen through understanding and steady support. And I will see you next time.